Hi, Gemini. Welcome to your general messages having to do with money and relationships. I feel like you guys have a lot going on this beginning of January. You've had it going on. It's still going on. You have a lot of like 8th house, 11th house, 7th house stuff going on that I'm going to be talking about as we go along and connecting it. Because 8th house could have to do with money as well as relationship. Seventh house with Venus in the 7th house, then dipping into the 8th house, that could definitely have to do with relationship as well as money as well, right? But with Mars in that 11th house, there's going to be Mars and Aries in that 11th house squaring that 8th house right now. There can be definitely tensions having to do with your goals and wishes and where it is that you see yourself going regarding some sort of connection, regarding some sort of combined resources, combine how you show up as a we in relationship. It can mean many things. So I'm going to break it out into how it can apply to money situations and relationship situations as we go along. So I'm going to start with money, which could be career, any sort of legal settlement, insurance payout, any sort of investment situation, anything having to do with money, your partner's money, your money. Okay, so we're going to talk about that first, and then I am going to timestamp for relationship. I'll do relationship after that. So I think we will start with the Light Seer Tarot for your money, and I'm going to be using the Lenormand deck as for clarification, as clarifiers. Those of you who don't know the Lenormand deck, you'll meet it. If you're new to my channel, if you're not new to my channel, you guys know I use it a lot. It's a different system. I think it's very powerful. It gives me some good messages. Alrighty, so let's get into this for our Gemini Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus friends. So the messages are going to be for all Geminis when I talk about house placements. Remember, those of you who I've talked about this a bunch of times, it's really focused on Gemini risings, right? Because your rising sign does drive your house placements. You have to know the time of birth in order to know what your rising sign is and figure that out, right? Rising sign is important to understand because it is your personality, how you engage with the world, how the world engages with you. It also rules your physical appearance. It's your house of self, right? It rules your house of self. Okay, so to this. All right, so we have the High Priestess energy coming into this beginning of January, right? Up to this point. Thinking things, Gemini. You have a lot cooking, right? You're really in this space of trying to get your ducks in a row, trying to figure things out, but you're not really talking to anybody about it right now, which is a good thing. Don't talk. It's like you're trying to strategize something. If I do this, then that, then that, then this, right? Trying to get, and you're not talking about it a lot, right? It's a moon energy. The moon rules like your emotions, like things that you're feeling inside that you're not really bringing to the surface. Now we have this working. The situation right now has to do with the Six of Cups. So Six of Cups is a beautiful energy that harkens back to the past. This can have to do with nostalgia. This can have to do with a reunion of some sort. Now, when this comes to money, you can literally be maybe, if it has to do with an inheritance situation or some sort of financial circumstance having to do with family, obviously you guys getting together with people that you haven't seen in a really long time. For others of you, if this has to do with career, this could be you going back to something that you did at one point that maybe you never finished or that you want to do again, right? Something like that. Others of you could be reaching out to people who you knew once upon a time, be it from your childhood or school or people you used to work with, to see if there's any opportunity there, or reaching out to them for some sort of assistance, help, or maybe to go into business together or anything like that. That is, again, this harkening back to the past, what you wanted to do once upon a time. But I like it because whatever is happening here, it's going to bring you a gift, is a gift. And the fact that it's being complemented by the Three of Wands, I like this a lot because the Three of Wands is a Sun and Aries energy. This is about a new path, a new perspective, something, the page is turning, having to do with some sort of financial situation. So whether it's that project you're working on, you getting into, even if you're in the same job, you're going to be doing it differently. I do feel like you're at least setting yourself up to do something differently. There's definitely this doing something differently kind of thing going on here. But the Three of Wands is about getting a lot of acknowledgement from other people, surrounding your capabilities. There's a teamwork energy here that ends up leading to expansion for you. But it has something to do with your past, or something that you started in the past. Something to do with the past here. Okay. Beautiful. We have the Owl's wisdom. Yeah, you're getting messages here, Gemini, messages that you need to listen to. I'm not talking about little flippant messages about like your friend or your partner or a family member. There's something that you're feeling very, very deep and intuitively that you really have to listen to. So I really like that. Now, the best to be achieved from the circumstances right now as they are, we have the Five of Pentacles energy, which is about, you might be feeling super concerned about money. Some of you may be experiencing some sort of financial loss, experiencing some sort of poverty mindset. It's this sense of disconnection as well, isolation, but definitely discomfort when it comes to financial situation. Now, it could be also, depending on what the situation is. For example, if the financial situation that you're resonating with, if it's a divorce, obviously you're going to feel sad. If it's an inheritance, if somebody passed who's close to you, obviously you're going to feel sad. You know what I mean? Or if a business partnership has reached an impasse and you guys need to make some changes there, feeling in that space. But let's see what we have here. Venus, focused on the future. I like this complementing the Five of Pentacles. There's a focus on the future. Venus is a beautiful energy of, it's like the beautiful trifecta, I always say. Venus is a money planet, which is good. Also about self-esteem and sense of self-worth, and really loving what you do, but going into the future. So I like this as the complement because this tells me that whatever's going on right now is very uncomfortable for you. Even if you're not in dire straits, you're not where you want yourself to be. And I like the fact that there's this future, looking at the future, acknowledging the future. Now the foundation, the reason for the reading, we have the Hierophant energy. And the Hierophant is all about traditions, conventions, expectations, conformity. The Hierophant is, in astrology, is associated with Taurus. Taurus is the landlord of the second house of resources. Not only money, it is money, but it's also things that you value, anything you value. That's where the Hierophant energy is often associated with marriages, because we value our marriages, or we want to anyway, right? We should. The roof over your head, the food in your mouth, right? All of that. Expectations, conformity, some sort of tradition. So right now, like, there's a certain expectation that's either put upon you because of your marriage, put upon you because of whatever, the life that you want to see for yourself, whether it's expectations that you have for yourself or other people have of you, wanting to maintain some sort of tradition. So maybe you want to buy that house, you want to sell that house, moving your money around for the sake of your family, anything to do with money. It could have to do with these expectations that you put on yourself or that are expected of you. Now, we have the park. The park indicates networking. So I like this because this indicates other people reaching out to people online. This could be in-person networking if you're in a situation that allows that, but it's about making connections, lots of connections. And this is complementing the Hierophant energy, having to do with this idea of tradition, dealing with other people. Definitely a good energy for those of you dealing with any sort of inheritance situation, anything like that. To me, I feel like you're going to be getting support from other people right now, and as far as whatever's going on with you. We have you, and this is the you and only you position. We have the Queen of Wands. I like this. You're feeling very confident, very self-assured, very sort of feisty and motivated and passionate about something that you're involved in. So whether it's that project, whether it's that investment, you feel really good about it, getting into that career, whatever it is, I feel like you may not know if it's going to be successful. You may not know that, and that's okay. Doesn't mean you're not feeling really excited about it. And you're really feeling like just very energized to push something forward, make something happen. You feel that there's a new cycle, yeah. So this is being complemented by the the rider energy. And the rider energy does incite a new cycle, right? So if she's on the merry-go-round, that one that goes up and then down, right? So that indicates cycles. And then if you see here, forgive the cut on my finger, I just cut myself. She's got her messenger bag in the letter. So some sort of information that's going to be coming into you that's going to incite this new cycle. So maybe you're going to find out that the money came through for something. Somebody's going to invest in something for you. The mortgage came through. The loan came through. Something happened with positive having to do with your partner's money, your money, whatever it is, right? Now, again, the first 7 weeks, I mentioned before about this 8th house energy for you, Gem. I think it's really important for you guys to understand, especially the first 7 days of January. You have Mercury and Pluto conjunct with the sun in that 8th house. That is like communication and change happening in a really supportive way in that 8th house of money coming in from other people, other places, other situations, okay? There being some really good communication. Now, on the 8th, Mercury is going to jump out of the 8th house and go into your 9th house, which is about contracts, right? And laws, and it's like the beginning of, it could be the beginning of a lawsuit, the beginning of a contract, right? Sitting down and creating the regulations and sort of the fine print of something so that something can be moved forward, right? So something to keep in mind there. Now, you also have Venus in the 7th house of partnership. So if this is anything having to do with like a business partnership, or even, dare I say, like, even if there's going to be a dissolution of marriage, for those of you, right, general messages, everybody's in the same place, to have Venus in there the first 7 days in Sagittarius, there's a softening. There's a softening of fighting for what you each feel is what you feel is the right thing. But now come the 8th of the month, Venus is going to be going into Capricorn, moving into your 8th house. So that's where some work's got to be done. But Venus is going to be softening it. So there's this softening when it comes to negotiation. But with Mars and Aries in your 11th house of goals and wishes and friends and gains, it's also, 11th house is the house of gains. It is going to be squaring that 8th house. So the gains from that lawsuit, divorce, settlement, whatever it is, like the actual result where something has ended so that something else can be begun, like that kind of thing, there may be tension there, right? I want to let you know that there might be tension in the working out of the finer details of some sort of agreement when it comes to that. But there's no question that there's a new cycle that's starting. Now, your environment, right, the external influence that's affecting you, we have the 8 of Wands, which is about news coming in that incites almost like a frenetic kind of change. It's like the news you were waiting for coming from external from you that affects you, it all of a sudden it's going to start changing things. So again, the money coming in for whatever it is, or coming to that decision, coming to that epiphany, something, reaching its point. All right, remember that 8th house, it's about endings and beginnings. It's things reaching a culminating point. But let's see what's working with that. Yeah, definitely more new change energy. I mean, that's nuts, right? We get the rider energy, and now we have the stalks, which brings new life, new birth. So there's new life coming from an external influence to you. Very direct interpretation, Gemini. Some of you might be getting the word that you're pregnant. That could be coming, right, to you, and that ends up being a little bit of a game changer as far as what's happening with your finances, for sure. Yeah. Okay, and then we have the Knight of Pentacles in your fear and your hope position. So this is a reliable energy, very patient, very hardworking. You are scared of this, right? I mean, you're scared that somebody is not going to be this for you, that you're not going to be able to show up as that. You are questioning your ability to be patient, not work hard. You're not afraid of the working hard. But you might be like, all right, I don't know if I could be patient for this. Like, what does that even mean? Right? Not the easiest energy for a Gemini, right? What does that even mean, patience? All right. and also working in this very psychological position, because this is your fear and your hope, is the labyrinth energy, which is all about trying different strategies. This working, then you have to try that working, and then not this. You want to be able to do that. You want to be able to strategize and be very solution oriented, right? And all of that. But at the same time, you're afraid that a solution to whatever situation is going on may not be happening right now for you. So, I'm really not worried about that. That seems to make sense, just given everything else that's going on here. But now your near future, we have the Seven of Pentacles, which is great. Seven of Pentacles is where the Four of the World and the Three of the Trinity meet. I always consider this where heaven and earth are meeting on earth to start a new cycle. But there's patience required. There's hard work required. There's delayed success required and waiting. So you might feel like, all right, come on, let's go, but that's okay. Seven of Pentacles, it's coming. You just have to be patient and put in the hard work. Yeah, look at this. I mean, this is complimenting you, crossing you. I don't know. I feel like it's a compliment because we have Mars here, right? I mean, this is the Mars looking into the future, knowing what's going on with your Mars. It's in your 11th house in Aries. Be honest with you, I like this square. I'm not mad at the square. I'm not mad at squares, because squares are like little 911 messages. Like, you got to pay attention to what's happening between where these energies are hanging out, right? So there's going to be a lot of focus on where it is that you're going, the gains in this situation, what the money looks like, where it is that it's going to bring you, having to do with whatever's being offered to you, whatever's being worked out here. There's going to be tension, but it's to your benefit. In other words, it's you not saying, okay, whatever you're going to give me, I'll work it out. Whatever you want to give me for the house, whatever you want to give me for that contract, whatever you want to pay for that lease or that job or whatever it is. You're like, not so much. No. I'm thinking about my future. Look, he's looking at the future, and he's got Mars around his neck. Right? And he's very good looking on top of that. So that's a little something to add to the... And then we have the Knight of Cups as the final outcome energy. Knight of Cups, beautiful. Proposal coming in. This is not only about relationships, guys. This is also a business energy as well. So some sort of offer is coming in as the final outcome to all of this. So definitely stand your ground here. Fine if something takes a while. Fine if you have to be patient, but not fine if the end of that waiting and the end of that patience is actually not what you want. So be very patient for those of you who are maybe looking to sell a property, get into some sort of investment. Just be super patient in this energy. Okay, so there is a proposal that's coming in, but check it out. Look what we got to clarify. So the cross like a Christ consciousness card. So think about what that means. Christ died on the cross, so it goes. Christ died on the cross for our sins, right? He sacrificed himself so that we could live. So it's all about redemption. Something happened with somebody else in your energy, and you're feeling like you needed to pay the price for it. So a good example of this would be, let's say you have a business partner and they were really irresponsible in their private life with money, and they ended up abusing the finances of the business, or now they're in dire straits and they can't contribute more. It's like you are having to pay the price for that. So in order to redeem yourself in this area, you need to release that partnership. It's just not good for you. It's the same thing if you're in a marriage and the marriage is just completely unhealthy and it's an absolute drain. Perhaps that needs to be released. And I don't mean to sound very nonchalant and flippant about it, but I just want to get to the point here. Something needs to be released, all right, here, in order for the benefit to come in. Now, there is a proposal coming in, but something needs to be released in order for that to work. Contracts are being signed. We got the bridge. Contracts are being signed. So the proposal's coming in. Something needs to be sacrificed here. So something's got to give as far as negotiating some sort of situation. But I do see this is meeting in the middle to sign contracts. Quite literally in Lenormand, that's what that means. Beautiful, beautiful business energy, the bridges. I like it. Very nice. And it's all about looking at the past, patiently waiting, letting things roll out, not being flippant. Not being flippant. This is the right thing to do. Beautiful. We get the compass energy. See, this is definitely where you're supposed to be going. It is considered like the situation is your true north. So whatever offer is coming in, there just needs to be some negotiating, some finalizing of the final details. There is going to be a little bit of back and forth, but don't be like, oh, this, that kind of energy. Meaning, yeah, but this is, you can do this, but for this amount of money, I want you to work here, you're fabulous, and this is the salary. And you're like, really now? No. So getting what you're worth, definitely. It has to do with, a hiring situation. And getting what you want and deserve, if it has to do with any sort of investment, anything like that. Yeah. But it looks good. Gemini, January is going to be a little trippy, right? And I've said that in my astrology video, and I do mean that. It is going to be a little trippy for most of us. And what I mean by trippy is there's going to be a lot of emotions. There's going to be a lot of conversations, but everything is to set something else up. Nothing is existing for nothing. Do you know what I mean? And remember, those of you who watch the astrology, just to remind you, Saturn is invisible right now, right? We can't see him until the middle of February. So things are not going to feel like they can crystallize wholly so. There's got to be this level of patience. But, don't be surprised if you guys feel like this hurry up and wait kind of energy. Just so annoying for a Gemini, right? Yeah. Okay. Alrighty, so I'm going to be doing the same thing except with a different Lenormand deck. Let's get into relationships for our Gemini friends in relationships. Now, this is just going to be for general relationships. However it resonates with you, don't try to make it fit if it's not your reading. Not breaking it out into singles, complicated, and all of that. That I do in my deep reads. I just don't have enough time to do all those readings. But so long. So let's see what kind of messages we can get for you guys from this. 4 of Cups coming into this. So 4 of Cups is an interesting energy, is it not? It really is. It's like feeling very apathetic and unfulfilled in a relationship and feeling like a checklist energy. I can't be with them because of this, this, and this. And it will never work because of that, and that. Really saying all of these different things and feeling like, am I ever going to be in anything that I feel really connected to and happy with? And the answer is yes, you can and you will, but you have to really look at yourself a little more deeply and get in touch with whatever discomforts are going on in the relationship between the two of you, or just about relationship if you're single. What is speaking to some unhealed wounds inside of you, whether it's from a past relationship or maybe you have trust issues, or maybe situations from your childhood, that comes up a lot with this. Being in that space. Well, right now I see you're in a mode of self-protection here, self-defense, protecting. This is a Mars and Leo. You're drawing a line in the sand. You're like, look, this is what I want, need, and desire. I need this. And you feeling like you almost have to defend your will, defend your motivations. Not a comfortable energy, but it's not horrible either, because I like the fact that you are putting your foot down. So you got this, you're in the space of like, this is what I want, need, and desire. And a lot of you are like, bye, gotta go. Withdrawal, retreat, moving on, abandonment. Why? Because this is Saturn and Pisces energy. It's not giving you what you're looking for. A lot of you are, it's just not what you're looking for. Saturn is about restriction and delay and karma, and it's tough. And Pisces is all about what you wish for. It's that dreamy part of you. So it's with sadness, but not regret. The sadness here. But it's almost like this situation where you're realizing, Gemini, what you ultimately want for yourself in relationship is not going to be able to happen in this connection the way it is right now. Like either something's got to give. And I just realized you got the Five of Swords there. Let's pull a Lenormand first for these first three cards. I pull one card for these three. Let's see what messages we get. Everything is happening exactly the way it's supposed to. You have to know that. It's in the stars. Everything has been written here already. Now, you know, then there's always the looking for, okay, well, why did it need to happen in this way kind of thing, right? Now, as far as the best that can be achieved in these circumstances, we have the Five of Swords. Five is conflict. Swords are truth and communication. This would be a very kind of outburst, sort of violent engagement. Could be a big argument, or you could just be in a very abusive relationship. It doesn't have to actually be physical violence, but it can be just emotional abuse as well. But there's an argument here. It's definitely an argument. And the thing is with the Five of Swords, really nobody's really winning. And the louder they yell and the louder you yell and the more you cry and the more they cry, nobody's hearing each other anymore. But what is being argued really has to do with this idea of Venus and Aquarius. Now, for some of you, keep in mind, Aquarius is about the future. And it's about different. Aquarius energy is out of the box, out of the ordinary, out of what's been the deal. So quite literally, you guys could be fighting about, will anything be any different in the future? Others of you, this could be very internal, where you might be finding yourself attracted to somebody different. Or you might be finding out that your partner is wanting to get into something different, where you guys can't see, you're having a hard time seeing a future together. Because Venus, again, it's not only about love, it's about growth and being able to grow. And in Aquarius, it's different than what is now. So do you guys feel like you want different things? Are you growing away in a different direction than your partner? Are they growing away? Do you guys want different things now? Can there be a meeting of the minds? Can there be a coming together, for the future? We have the stork, which indicates a new life. So, the new life is just that. It's like this conflict for something different. And then we have the stork, which is the new life. I feel like I need to pull another card on that. Coffin. No. Gem. So, endings and beginnings here. Coffin is kind of like the death card in tarot. In the Lenormand, which is about big changes, endings, time to move on, rebirth, transformation. Time for transformation. So for some of you, you're going to be having the argument. You might need to step away from each other for a little bit. And then there is the opportunity, as long as there's a revisiting in a different way. It can't be the same. There's got to be some changes that go on. Because going the path that you guys were going on, it's not going to serve you, right? So an ending so that there could be a new beginning. Now, we do have the foundation, the reason for the reading. Definitely realizing the truth of a situation, Gemini. There's no question to me. This is very focused on total honesty. You're in a space of being very self-sufficient right now, or at least looking to be. This is Virgo and Libra energy. Virgo and Libra. Virgo's ruled by Mercury. It's an earth sign. It's about problem solving. Virgo's a problem solving energy, right? Virgo is the landlord of the sixth house. The sixth house is the house of problems. That's why the hermit is Virgo. What does the hermit go to the top of the mountain to think about? Problems and how to solve them. It's about solutions and trying to come up with solutions to the problems that are existing within relationship. That's exactly what's going on here, right? Virgo, problem solving. Libra, seventh house of partnerships, problem solving, right? But you got to start with the truth first. The truth has to be, I like the Queen of Swords energy, because it's just like she's got you figured out. As soon as you walk in the room, you don't even need to open your mouth. She's got your motivations figured out, the whole thing. All right. We got the bear. Okay, good. So the bear has to do with mother. anything associated with mother or mothering. Okay, so some of you feeling super protective of your kids. Others of you wanting to have children. The idea of children, okay? That could have to do with the bear. The bear is also, though, our basic necessities that our mother would typically provide us with, right, as children. So we're talking about, what do we need in this relationship for to survive? Or what do we need actually in the 3D? What do we need? We need a roof over our heads. We need food. We need money coming in, at least a certain amount. Really looking at what is needed. So anything that a mother would provide, or the idea of mothering, is definitely being thought about here, right? Really focusing on just like, what do you need, moving forward in relationship? What do you need to be okay in your life? Now, you and only you, we get the Four of Wands energy, which this is fabulous because this is about, well, for some of you, this is a reunion energy. I love the Four of Wands, but besides the fact that it's a card of strong foundation, which is probably the most positive energy that comes off of it. It's this family and friends and the celebratory kind of energy as well. Some of you may be looking to reunite with somebody in order to have a strong foundation. So if you guys are separated, this is you really wanting to get back with somebody so that you guys can build a strong foundation, right? Others of you, you're going to be in a space of realizing that if something is over, and in order for you to feel like very strong foundation, a lot of you guys are going to be moving home, right? Because this is a homecoming energy as well. This is returning home. But regardless, this is surrounded by people who care about you. And this is where you're at right now. Definitely surrounded by people who care about you, focusing on a strong foundation. Let's see what we get here. And it being exactly what's necessary. Who else got the clover in this position? I don't remember. Maybe Leo. But whatever's happening here it's happening exactly whatever you're going through on your end, it's good. Even if it's painful, even if it's so uncomfortable right now, whatever you're doing right now and wherever you're at in your mind, it's going to ultimately end up serving you. Now, your environment, meaning the external influence that's affecting you, we have the Nine of Swords. This is about anxiety, grief, depression, nightmares, somebody external to you. There's a lot of anxiety that is impacting you. So this could be your partner. This could be just the anxiety of a particular situation, but it's affecting you. But I don't feel like it's necessarily coming from you, Gemini. I feel like somebody that you're dealing with is just struggling from ruminating thoughts. I call this the 3 a.m. card. It's like, I can't get out of my own way, because they're trying to figure out the right strategy to something. That's the thing. The Mars, because this is a Mars and Gemini energy, and Mars is obsessed with us being on our rightful path. A very internal energy. It's the swords are thoughts. That's where Gemini comes in. It's like thinking about, okay, how am I going to make this happen? Where do I belong, right? Because it's in Mars. Mars is about, rules Aries. It's about fresh path, new perspective. How can I make that happen? Where am I going to, how do I do this? Can I trust them? Do we have the money? That's the energy that's external to you, that's influencing you right now. But we have the Sun as the clarifier for them. Oh, they're going to be fine. I mean, the Sun is all about material happiness and a joyous outcome. But at the same time, this could be the very thing that they're very worried about, Gemini. Like, are they enough? Are they going to be able to make it happen in the way where everybody's happy? What they're hoping for and what they're kind of afraid of is the Ace of Swords. And you, not them, I'm still looking at them. But you're afraid of, and what you're also hoping for, is this mental clarity. Because sometimes when things become really clear, it ends up delivering harsh messages. Like you need to dissolve this now. If it's your fear, if it's your hope, You were just really looking for some clarity on the situation. You could just be really flippin' confused. You do have Venus in Sagittarius in your 7th house up until January 7th. Come the 8th, Venus hops into Capricorn, jumps into your 8th house, where you have to show up as a we energy. That's where it gets hardcore. Like, that's where the big conversations have to be happening, because at the same time, you know, Mercury is going to be going from your 8th house into your 9th house of your belief systems. So you're going to be communicating like what you believe, what you need, your moral code, what you need, your personal philosophy. So the thing is, with the Ace of Swords, while it brings clarity and new ideas and a new perspective, it always brings a new conflict with it, right? Like, for example, if you're having clarity that you need to leave a situation, where are you going to go? That's the conflict. Or if if you're having clarity on, oh my gosh, the problem is just finances, how are we going to fix that together? Do you know what I mean? It's like, it doesn't have to be an ending kind of thing, but although we do have the coffin and we have the stalk and we have this 5 of Swords here. So you guys can connect that to your situation however you see fit. But with this Ace of Swords, look at this. We have the ring, has to do with commitment. So you're having some mental clarity having to do with the idea of committing. Having the house and the kids. You see, I like this depiction of the ring because it's really, you know, it's also about the strong foundation. So I feel like a lot of you are just questioning whether this is the right thing for you. Are you ever going to have what it is that you were ultimately looking for with this person? If not, you have to talk about it. There's got to be some sort of communication, but guys, we can't avoid the near future, which is the Tower energy. This is, you know, upheaval. Something coming down. Now, this, for some of you, this can be the ending of a relationship. For others of you, this could be an internal Tower moment where you're realizing you need to completely change your perspective regarding how you view relationship completely. How you've been viewing up to this point has not been serving you, and you need to change. You need to pull down your belief system and you need to rebuild it to look a hell of a lot different. And you may be able to do that. You may be able to. Only because Mercury is going to be dropping into that 9th house of belief system. And it's going to be sextiling that 11th house, that Mars in the 11th, right? And you're going to have Venus in that 8th house of how you show up as a we energy in Capricorn. So, you know, there's going to be this focus on, how do I show up as a we? What do I believe? Is it serving me? Is it not? If it's not, I have to update how I even view relationship. So for a lot of you, this is what you're going to be going through. Not comfortable, but effective. And being, you know, look, the Tower is the Mars energy in astrology, right? How much sense does this make? But I like that your astrology, especially for those of you who are Gemini risings, you're having a lot of support in doing this revamping, if you're experiencing in that way. Some of you are going to be literally ending a relationship. And even if you are, you're still going to have that sextile to the 11th. So I feel like that's good, because at least there's going to be an easing up. Not that the ending of anything is not harsh and challenging. But look, you have choices. Choices. So the Tower could be because you have choices, right? Where you're presented with these options within this relationship, having to do with something within the relationship interpersonally, or having to do with maybe purchasing a property or having a child or something like that. And you may be needing to really update your perspective on how you're viewing something, because you're being presented with a choice. And I can't ignore the fact that the final outcome energy is the 3 of Pentacles, which is about teamwork and collaboration. So I feel like, let me just pull the Lenormand for that. Fox, ooh, careful. We got the Fox energy. I'm going to talk about that in a minute, but I actually want to... We got the Fox and the Snake? What? Come on now. Look at that. Gemini, I don't know if you could trust this person to be somebody that's going to actually deliver on what they're claiming. They want to have like this collab situation, this teamwork. Let's go do this. Let's build and whatever. We have the Fox which speaks out of both sides of their mouth. This is like a two-faced energy. Saying something and knowing fully so that they're really trepidatious about having follow through. If not, believing that it will probably never happen. And the snake is literally false promises. Literally false promises. It's almost two sides of the same coin. I feel like I need to... Because I feel like you're getting this intuitive vibe, Gem, that you might not even want to like admit to yourself out loud about something going on in this relationship. But it's like you can't ignore it. Yeah, it's going to be conflict. And then we have the rider. Now, I want you to look at the rider in this energy. It's a little different than in the other one. You see how the horse is going forward, but the rider is looking back? There's still a message being delivered. And there still is this new cycle being incited. There is still this moving forward, but the rider is looking at the past. So not the easiest energy. Definitely not. Just not. I mean, right now, we have, but the thing is, we have Mars in there that's pushing. I want you to think about Mars in Aries is, Mars in Aries in Tarot is the Two of Wands energy. What is the Two of Wands energy? Needing to make a choice. It's like you're in the space of waiting for somebody to show up, waiting for somebody to call you, waiting for somebody to communicate, waiting for a response. But the bottom line is you need to make a choice, right? It's Mars in Aries. So that's happening right now in your 11th house. On top of that, you got the Tower card, which is straight up Mars. So Mars is very influential in your energy this beginning of January, where it's really kind of like there's a glowing sort of sign where it's like, Gemini, what's meant for you? What is your metaphorical home space? Where are you really supposed to be? Because guess what? I don't think it's this. And if it's this, it can't look like this. There's got to be some sort of resolution here. Doesn't mean it's impossible. We're not robots, but the energy is suggesting that if it's not actively engaged with and actively worked on changing, if it just is left to its own devices to roll out as it is, it does seem like something will ultimately not be the right thing for you at the end of the day, unless certain things are addressed right now. So that is what I have for you. I hope this was helpful in some way to you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. See you guys next week. Bye-bye.